Good day to you, my friends. I'm Kenetor, and today I'm going to be reviewing Blossom, a crafting and terraforming game with a touch of survival. I've played this from beginning to end, so it will not just be a first impression, so stick around and let's run through how well it played, and I'll be keeping spoilers to an absolute minimum. Shout out to the solo dev for supplying this early review copy. So straight off the bat, I think anyone that likes either Astroneer or Planet Crafter, specifically more the latter, will really enjoy Blossom. But it's much lighter on the survival mechanics, with only your little robot's power to manage. No hunger or thirst or stamina, just your battery level to focus on. And for this game, that's great, because the real focus is on terraforming Mars and rediscovering why you are here. Starting you off in a small locked room, power dwindling, you get to grips with something that becomes a core part of the game. Cables. Be it from batteries to you, or a power source to a machine, cables are used everywhere. And eventually even pipes are thrown into the mix too. The system is very forgiving as you lay out cables, and they tighten up a little to take up a little less space in a semi-physics controlled way. But the cables do have a maximum length. As you start to reach it, your character's walk or run speed will slow down and eventually the cable will detach. Thankfully though, these cables are free, so it's no added stress. At the start of the game, Mars is quite the orange dust ball. Visibility is poor and exploring too far could get you very lost. Thankfully you get a compass within the first few minutes of playing, which will also highlight your starting location. And you also get not one but two backpack size upgrades within 5 minutes of playing, which kinda left me thinking what's the point? Going from 4 to 6 and then an 8 slot backpack so quickly. Thankfully the rest of the progression in the game feels far more impactful and meaningful, at a pace that feels like you're both always working towards, but never too far away from the next upgrade, with many upgrades leading linearly to the next one. This could be good or bad depending on your playstyle and preferences. If I know I can get a head start with a little more work, then I generally try to be a little cheeky like that, but there's none of that here. Firstly, the basics of mining are tiered between your hand miner, 2 levels of vehicle mounted miners, and beyond. But the primary blocker is the blueprints for a lot of things in the game are blocked by your terraforming progress. And terraforming is blocked out into 5 distinct major milestones: pressure, temperature, soil, oxygen, and life. And each of these has multiple stages within it, all clearly shown once you've placed your terraform analyzer. During terraforming, the surface, the sky, and even the sounds of walking all change quite a lot. I particularly loved the ice stage where everything had a satisfying crunch when you walked. It may be a small thing, but it was a nice detail. And how fast you blast through all of these stages is mostly up to how fast you can mine and build out your base. The game doesn't rush you in any way though, and you can always take a break to explore anytime you want. There are even rewards for doing so, but not enough in my opinion. Many of the points of interest you just need to supply power to a door to get inside. I found a few low skill minigame boxes. Basically you just let go of the charging button when it hits the desired power level instead of just charging. But the main reason to explore is for the story logs you can retrieve. These reveal the lore and the history of what happened to us and why this little robot is here. You can also find blueprints for habitat pieces, decorations and variations. Sadly these don't really serve a purpose other than being cosmetic, as they are not required for anything. Not massively my jam, but I know a lot of you out there love this sort of thing and will get really creative with it too, so know it is there if you want it. I also really loved the vehicle progression. Starting off with carts you can pull around by tethering them with a cable to your backpack, initially letting you store more while out on your trips, but eventually will mine and even store power as well. You fall into a natural rhythm of collecting resources and then plugging your cart back into base when you get back to recharge it. And I loved the game didn't fall into jumping straight into a rover based system immediately too, as it made getting that first rover so much more meaningful. Not just because now I could control the mining laser from the driver's seat, but also the speed upgrade too. Before you know it, you'll be roving across Mars with a full-on land train of storage, batteries, power generation, and even eventually crafting, making a full-on mobile base. Storage and crafting also has a similar progression too, all very manual at first, but eventually you do get storage that can not only stack higher amounts of resources, but also allows for proximity crafting. Again, not given straight away, which might annoy some of you, but it's something you work for. Eventually you'll even get resource drones. Even the lower tech ones are helpful. They might not be able to mine the current tech that you're on, but they will be able to fill out the lower tier ore so you don't have to keep going out there and getting it. The only downside here is there is no way to currently set limits on how much they mine. They just keep going till your storage is full. You can't limit it to one box or a fixed number of that resource in the base. So that means you really have to keep an eye on them. And crafting and refining is all still manual. Eventually there is little to leave your base for with enough drones running, so crafting things becomes much quicker without the breaks between for gathering. This can really help you focus on the latter portion of the game where you can enjoy setting up different biomes if you want to give different areas a unique look. There is a huge amount of different flora you can get seeds for, allowing you to mix and match to get the look you want. Add to that the various life forms that you can set out in each biome too, and you can really go to town with customization. And it's not just about customization when it comes to the life forms either. You're creating an ecosystem. For example, larger birds or mammals will need certain creatures to be spawned first as their food source, be it flies for frogs or a number of smaller creatures for a larger predator. And some of those smaller creatures might need others to support them too. So it's not just bigger creature, more better, but also not overly complex either. The UI for this could use some improvement to show that you don't need all the prerequisite food sources, as this did have me confused at one point. In terms of game time, I cracked the credits in just under 22 hours at the standard difficulty, but you could go for much longer if you're being creative. There's also an easy mode available if you would like a more relaxing game, a full creative mode that you can enable at any point in any game mode, which also turns off the achievements, and there's also a teased hardcore mode coming post-launch, which I can't wait to try for myself. The game offers tremendous value for money at its price point, especially with the launch discount. Finally, the story, without spoiling of course, is a bit of a string of messages in a bottle, and while I predicted the ending, the story isn't going to win any awards, let's put it that way. But it was good enough for the background of this great little game. But the game does have a few issues, most I could overlook though, like getting stuck on a machine or a bit of terrain. While these were infrequent, the game also does detect when this happens and corrects itself, which is great, but it does take a few seconds and breaks the immersion. I had one bigger bug happen where I could see through different parts of my base and things became completely unselectable, forcing me to quit and reload. But I only lost a few minutes thanks to the autosave feature. There was also an issue at the end of the game where the high tier endgame resources completely ran dry. I also had a minor issue with the creatures, where if I just stopped in a vehicle, the vehicle would start being pushed around by the creatures. But this only happened while I was in the vehicle. But I will definitely give some slack though, because as far as I can tell from the credits, this game is absolutely made by just a single dev, which is really impressive. And overall, nothing stopped me from completing the game, so it was still highly enjoyable for me. And enjoyable enough to absolutely still recommend this to all of you if you like crafting and terraforming games. And not only that, it's a complete game, no early access logo in sight. So there you have it. Let me know if you're going to pick this one up, and tell me in the comments what you were looking forward to the most with this one. I've definitely left some surprises for you to find that I didn't mention, so do enjoy. Now please leave a like and subscribe for more sci-fi and space gaming content, as it helps me out a ton, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Kenetor, out.